Okay, so originally I was going to draw something and just basically ad-lib my entire script for the backstory of my three OCs, Alex, Dolores, and Eddie, but I've written a script and I'm just gonna read off of it. And so this is the story of my OCs, Alex Sanchez, Eddie Sanchez, and Dolores Sanchez. What was I going to say? Just keep in mind, these are the story's heavily based on the Book of Life, one of my favorite movies. Let me read off of what's to be said. Alex Sanchez, Dolores Sanchez, and Eddie Sanchez were born to Olivia Sanchez and Ethan Delmonico. Now, let me rattle off some details about these guys before I keep talking. Dolores is a lesbian, Alex is pansexual, and Eddie is aro ace. Ethan was very happy to be a father, but unfortunately went missing a few weeks after Eddie was born. Also, Eddie is 1 year younger than Dolores and Alex, who, by the way, are twins. They're fraternal twin sisters. They all live in the town of San Angel, Mexico, which is where the movie is set, the Book of Life. Luca Ramirez, who is a canon character, is a distant cousin of the Sanchez family and has frequent video chats with them. He's also the one who told Alex about, meeting La Muerte, sparking, their Alex and Dolores' kind of following of them. Also, in case you don't know who Luca Ramirez is, he's like that purple-haired goth kid that was in the beginning. Eddie doesn't really like to label himself a femboy, but he does enjoy wearing things like skirts and makeup. Alex and Dolores were opposites in every way. Dolores enjoyed wearing floral blouses and acid wash jeans. Alex wore goth clothes and I don't know, I just added weird socks because, I don't know. Dolores was the overachieving popular kid, while Alex was forgotten in the shadows. Alex started worshiping Xibalba when she was around 10, I think maybe 13-ish, I don't know. She mainly did it to be more connected with her ancestors. She had heard the legend of Maria and Manolo Sanchez her entire life and knew that Xibalba was an important character in it all. So what if she might have skipped around a few pages straight to the end where he helps the town? So what? Also, her cousin, Luca Ramirez, who is also confirmed to be related to Maria, also told her about actually meeting La Muerte, which kind of fueled her ambitions. And you know what, Dolores, here's what I wrote directly. Dolores always had to do the opposite of what Alex did, even worshipping the queen of the land of the remembered, La Muerte, because, what's-her-face, Alex worshipped Xibalba. One day, while praying at Xibalba's altar, which Alex made herself, Alex got a nosebleed. She gets them quite often. And a drop of her blood fell onto the altar, summoning the king of the land of the forgotten himself. Xibalba recognized his high priestess right away and was delighted to see her. I have this headcanon that Xibalba isn't a very well-known god and therefore isn't worshipped by many. It's been confirmed by the creator of the Book of Life that Xibalba and La Muerte have 7 children, but personally I headcanon that none of them were really willing to become rulers of the land of the forgotten. And what's the significance of this detail, you may ask? Xibalba was looking for someone to be his apprentice, and in desperation, he decided to dupe a mortal into taking on this thankless role. Sure, he felt a little guilty, tricking his high priestess and all, but someone had to take over if he stepped down or died. La Muerte was taken aback when she learned that her husband had taken on an apprentice. She decided that she as well should mentor someone, and that someone was chosen at random. Dolores, Alex's sister. Okay, so not really at random, more like choosing one of the Sanchez children. Mainly because, she helped their ancestors. She had a connection to the family, essentially. Once the candlemaker had heard that everyone was getting apprenticed, he decided to choose a mortal to train as well. He didn't really do it for any specific reason other than that, La Muerte and Xibalba were doing it first. And since it seemed like they were mostly picking from the Sanchez family, he decided to take one of the last ones available, essentially. Eddie. Olivia Sanchez, their mom. She's very distant, by the way, so... and I don't really know. I just don't like her, personally. Now, how they convinced Eddie and Dolores to train under them can be left up to imagination, mainly because it is 1:45 a.m. and I have not thought of anything really. I did put a lot of thought into it, but I just decided to scrap that bit. But after a year, the three siblings were well into their apprenticeships. They're known commonly around the land of the remembered as the Apprentices of the Afterlife. During a ritual officially granting the siblings their apprenticeship, they were also given these alternate forms. Alex a deer, Dolores a tiger, and Eddie was a fennec fox, who, by the way, was made out of candle wax. I just thought that'd be a cool little feature. They were also given these huge monster-like forms, because I, for some reason, cannot go without making an OC and giving them a monster-like form for some reason. Eddie was Eddie was given the form of a large kitsune-like creature made out of candle wax. Dolores became this large fox, dog, cat-like creature, whose top half was made out of, sugar, basically, like La Muerte. And her lower half was made out of mostly marigold petals. And Alex was still a deer, except much more big and kind of distorted. I don't really know how to describe it, but in case you're thinking of a Wendigo, that's not at all what she looks like. Now, the siblings' job mostly consisted of learning the magic that their teachers had learned through the generations, as well as paying visits to their ancestors, the deceased Sanchez family. Alex just thrived in the land of the forgotten, much to Xibalba's amazement. She was obsessed with learning spells, and after a while regarded Xibalba as a father figure. Dolores adored being under La Muerte's supervision as much as Alex appreciated her work. Dolores, like Alex, came to see La Muerte as a mother figure. Eddie and the Candlemaker had a very chill relationships and kind of regarded each other as brothers. Now, a very important fact about Alex: she secretly hates Dolores with every fiber of her being. Now, here come the big events. At one of the Sanchez family's parties, Carlos Sanchez, who is the father of the main character in the book of life, Manolo, he begins telling stories about his time as a bullfighter when he was alive, which leads to other family members telling stories about their life until they reach Dolores. Now, she didn't share one of her memories. No. She instead shared a humiliating one that Alex did not want anyone to know about. Now, Alex had wanted to just punch Dolores in the face for a very long time, and Xibalba's rants about how much he hated his own brother had unknowingly fed this animosity. And yes, Xibalba in fact has a brother, according to the creator of the Book of Life. Yeah. And Alex finally had her chance to just vent her wrath on her sister that night when she attempted to punch her in the face. Fortunately, she only just missed. To avoid their relatives from hearing her reprimand them, La Muerte separated the sisters and dragged them to an empty desert. Instead of scolding them, Xibalba had a different idea. Just let the girls fight this out. Bad idea. Eddie, who just generally dislikes being separated from his sisters, decided to accompany them, which he soon ended up regretting. Alex and Dolores transformed into their colossal monster forms, and because they can come back from the dead in these forms, they continue to just maul each other. And let it be known that originally Dolores had no intention to hurt her sister in any way, but Alex had been holding on to a lot of resentment towards Dolores over the years, and she was just tired of living in her sister's shadow and being seen, and just generally didn't like Dolores for a number of other reasons, multiple, but there's too many to list. Now, Eddie was just traumatized by witnessing the two people who helped raise him repeatedly murder each other, and it really put a rift between him and his sisters for a very, very long time. Both sisters were just appalled by what they had done to their brother and each other, and just really couldn't live with themselves very well. It was difficult to live together at home as well. Most of the kids would usually spend the night in a separate bedroom, a spare suite or something owned by their mentor. Not really a suite, but a spare bedroom or something. They live in pretty nice houses according to the Book of Life. Except for the Candlemaker, I don't really know. I think he lives in a cave or something. But Alex and Dolores just tried their absolute hardest to express how they wanted to mend their relationship with each other especially, but also with Eddie mostly. Eddie met their attempts with reconciliation with only hostility. Many years later, roughly around like 200, Eddie didn't exactly forgive his sisters, but he did resume talking to them. And keep in mind, like, after the ritual, they essentially become like, I don't really know what to say other than like immortal demigods. And after a few more like hundreds or thousands of years, I don't know how long the Earth's gonna last. Like, essentially, like the whole theory that it's gonna explode or something. That happens, and the Earth is like given to, Alex, Dolores, and Eddie to be in charge of, because like Xibalba, La Muerte, and the Candlemaker, they were in charge of, Earth at that time. Now it's the siblings' turn, and helping building essentially a new Earth really helped fix their relationship. And I know it's rocky. It's kind of weird and kind of cringe and to the new Earth thing, but I didn't really write an ending, so I'm coming up with that part on the spot. But yeah, that is the story of my OCs, Alex, Eddie, and Dolores Sanchez. Thank you for listening.